Hello everyone and welcome to the final video. This is for Module 7 and we're going to be talking about the final stage of group counseling, so the termination and transformation. So let's get started. So the dynamics that's associated with the group process and development, they're rich and multi-layered. So it's essential to understand the process in order to facilitate effective and ethical group counseling experience. Groups will typically evolve through predictable stages. So again, those are the forming stage, the storming stage, which is also called the transition stage, the norming stage, the working stage, and then finally it gets into the termination or adjourning stage. So each phase represents unique challenges and opportunities. So the leader's ability to recognize and respond to the needs of the group during each stage can significantly affect the outcomes of the group itself. In the forming stage, members are often reserved and cautious in testing waters, and the leader's role here is to establish trust and outline group norms and create a safe environment. But as the group moves into the storming and transition stage, there's power struggles and resistance and testing the limits of how far they can go. And then the norming and working phases are marked by increased cohesion, trust, and deeper commitment to the group itself. But then you get into the termination stage. And the focus here is what I would say the focus here is deliberate planning. So it takes skilled leadership to be able to help members to be able to consolidate their learning and preparing for life beyond the group itself. So here's the focus on reflection and closure and the future application of the termination stage. And it's important not to skip this step because it's important for the long-term success of the person. So during the final stage of group, both leaders and members have very specific tasks. So the leaders are responsible for facilitating reflection and ensuring emotional closure and supporting members as they prepare to say goodbye. This includes helping the group review its journey, recognize individual and collective growth, and acknowledge the feelings that arise during the termination. Leaders must also ensure that the members understand how to apply what they've learned in their daily lives and make plans for continued growth. For members, the final stage involves processing their experiences, dealing with separation anxiety, offering and receiving feedback, and preparing to function independently without the support of the group. So members may also reflect on their goals that they have achieved and identify areas where they still need work. One of the primary issues, though, that arises when we are effectively terminating a group experience is managing unresolved emotions and unfinished business. So members may struggle with the idea of leaving the safety and support of the group, especially if they've formed strong attachments. So some may express sadness, anxiety, or even anger about the group ending, which is common grief stages. Others may resist acknowledging that the termination is coming altogether, and they would prefer to avoid dealing with the painful emotions altogether too. So here the leader can and must create a space for these feelings to be acknowledged and processed. It's also important to assess whether members have unmet goals or lingering issues that need attention. And if so, how can they address those after the group ends? Dealing with separation anxiety is an important part of the final stage as well. And this is because the therapeutic relationship, both with peers and with leaders, can become deeply meaningful over time. So members may feel a profound sense of loss, particularly if the group was a primary source of support. So here, leaders can help members to understand that these feelings are normal and even healthy. Um, and as they reflect the significance of the group experience, they can look back over these things and understand that, again, the feelings that they're having is perfectly normal. There's a reason why they feel like this, and it's okay. As you normalize these emotions, it allows members to honor their experience and move forward with a sense of closure rather than unresolved grief or confusion. Leaders should also encourage open dialogue about separation and provide members with tools to cope, such as journaling, talking to a trusted friend, continuing individual therapy if needed. And then you have the sense of, like I said, dealing with separation about anxiety. So, these are where abandonment fears may be triggered. And the open dialogue that the leader has and that leads allows members to really cope with that and to process that. And again, if that's not something that they can process in the short time of that period, it's important to encourage them to seek individual therapy if they're not already. Either way, goodbyes, when handled effectively, can be a powerful opportunity for growth. So there's guidelines for managing goodbyes, including ensuring that each member has a chance to share their thoughts and feelings about the ending of group. Leaders might also facilitate a structured closing session where members can reflect on their journey and express appreciation, share memories, and offer well wishes to their fellow peers. Then there's other things like rituals, such as writing letters to the group or creating a group collage or engaging in a symbolic activity that can solidify the closure of the group itself. Another thing that's really important is leaders should also be mindful of what they're modeling. So modeling a healthy goodbye themselves is going to be super important, and acknowledging their own feelings, because again, the leader has been part of this group, so they might feel some type of way too. So acknowledging their feelings about the group's conclusion and validating the emotions of the members of the group is important here. Another thing that's important is reviewing the group experience. So this reinforces the learning and the growth. So here, leaders can use a variety of methods to be able to facilitate this particular review. There's structured reflection questions that can guide members in thinking about what they've learned and how they've changed and what they will take away. There's group discussions, written exercises, or creative activities like drawing or storytelling. Either way, all of these things help the members to articulate their experiences. And also taking the time to review significant group moments, such as breakthroughs that people had, or conflicts that they had, or emotional sharing that was done. This highlights the journey and underscore how far the group has come. And this reflection process also helps to consolidate insights and encourages members to integrate them into their daily lives. So the next important thing about ending group is how the members are going to apply it to their daily lives outside of group. So insight gained in the group setting but without real world application often fades. Like, it's not something that sticks with you. You have to do it for it to stick. So leaders need to emphasize the importance of taking risk, of trying new behaviors, and implementing skills that they've learned in the group into their everyday context. And this can look like practicing assertive communication, setting boundaries, managing anxiety, or even expressing vulnerability in relationships. By encouraging members to share their experiences and trying out new behaviors, it reinforces the learning that has been happening and provides accountability for the members. And that leads us into feedback during the final stage, because the feedback here needs to be focused on growth and highlighting strengths and offering constructive suggestions for continued development. Useful feedback is specific, non-judgmental, and grounded in personal observations. So leaders, they need to model how to give and receive feedback effectively. And what this does is encourage members to be both honest and compassionate. And honestly, the final sessions, it offers a real rich opportunity for mutual acknowledgement and validation, and it reinforces each member's contributions to the group itself. Another important part here is the contracts and homework. And this plays a part in consolidating learning and commitment to continued growth as well. So a contract might include personal goals, strategies for achieving them, and timelines for review. And then homework itself can, like any homework, involve journaling or practicing the new skill or checking in with a support group. These tools serve to bridge the group experience with real life change, and it offers structure and direction as members transition out of group. Leaders here should work collaboratively with members to set realistic, meaningful contracts and assignments that reflect their unique needs and circumstances. And then we have to look at setbacks, because it's a natural part of the growth process. So leaders have to prepare the members for them. Like saying that there won't be a setback or that there won't be a relapse is unrealistic. So preparing the members for them so they know what to do when it happens is really important. And this looks like discussing relapse prevention strategies so that the members can be empowered to manage challenges without feeling like they failed. Strategies might include identifying their triggers, developing coping skills, building a support system, and creating action plans for difficult moments. Normalizing setbacks helps to reduce the shame and encourages resilience. Because let's be honest, most of the time we are our own biggest critics. And that is the same for the people that we have in our groups. Leaders here can emphasize the importance of self-compassion and persistence, reinforcing that growth is a lifelong journey rather than a fixed destination. Like, you're not going to stop healing. You're not going to stop learning. You're not going to stop working on yourself. And honestly, helping members to apply what they've learned in their daily life is really the central part of the termination stage, to be honest. And this looks like identifying specific situations where their new skills can be used, anticipating any obstacles that may arise, and developing plans for action. So how can they handle this obstacle if it arises? Leaders might also facilitate role-playing exercises or problem-solving discussions to help members to prepare. By encouraging members to set short and long-term goals, it helps to provide direction and also motivation. The more concrete and actionable the plan is, the more likely it is to be implemented. So leaders also need to stress the importance of ongoing reflection and self-assessment. Do you need to update this plan? So another important thing as you're coming to the end is being able to evaluate the group process. And this isn't just important for the members, it's also important for the leaders themselves, because evaluation allows for the leader to know where they need to be able to fix some things or what they are doing good. So methods of evaluation can be written evaluations like surveys, verbal feedback, or structured surveys. Leaders can ask about what I said, like what they've found helpful, what they would change, how the group has impacted their lives. And using that information, using that particular feedback, it allows closure for everyone, but it also improves future groups. So leaders need to be open to receiving both positive and critical feedback and using it for a tool for growth for themselves. So another thing to be able to look at is co-leaders and what their reflection looks like. So co-leader issues at the end of group can mirror kind of those of the members. Co-leaders must navigate their own feelings about the group ending and evaluate their working relationship. This can look like discussing what went well, what could be improved, how they were supported or challenged each other. But clear communication is really important, along with mutual respect and honest feedback. Co-leaders also need to be able to review the group's outcomes and assess the effectiveness of their interventions so that they can plan for future collaboration and, if they need to, change some things up. And finally, that brings us to follow up after group ends. So this can provide ongoing support and reinforce the growth. Follow-up methods can include individual check-ins, booster sessions, or support groups. Leaders might schedule a follow-up session 1 or 2 months after the group ends to review the progress, address challenges, and celebrate success. By maintaining some connection, it can help members to be able to feel supported during the transition and remind them of the tools and the community that they built. But in conclusion, when we're looking at it, the final stage of group is a profound and critical phase that demands thoughtful planning, skilled facilitation, and a deep emotional presence. Here, leaders must support their members through the process of reflection and separation and preparation for future goals and what they're going with their life. Through structured activities, honest dialogue, and intentional closure, the termination stage becomes a powerful opportunity for transformation. Members leave here not only with new insights and skills, but also with a sense of completion and readiness to face life beyond the group. So I thank you all for sticking with me through the 7 modules and 10 videos, and I appreciate you all for taking the time to do the reading and do the book. So I hope you learned what you need, and if you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to me.